want to give you a look right now at the finalist for the Allstate Wuerfel Trophy. This is an award that recognizes the work that college football players do off the field, and good to highlight that. You can see a finalist from BYU, from Toledo, and from Texas, and you see the causes that they are representing there. I want to bring in now to talk about these finalists and about the importance of this award and some other topics as well. Tim Tebow, Florida Gators legend, and so many different titles, but here in Central Florida, that's what he goes by. So Tim, we appreciate you joining us here on Florida Live.
Oh, Garrett, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, and thanks for highlighting such an important award.
So, yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, obviously, I know this is something that means a lot to you personally. It's also an award that is named after another Florida Gators quarterback. So just talk a little bit about what this award means and why it's so important to highlight that work off the field.
Well, I love that it is named after a hero of mine, Danny Wuerffel, someone that I was so blessed to look up to as a role model, someone that I couldn't wait to get his autograph, someone that was such an inspiration to me growing up. So it's just so incredible. And I also love that we get to celebrate all 22 of these young men that are part of the Allstate AFC Good Works team. And now to be able to celebrate the 3 finalists for the Allstate Wuerfel Trophy is so special, because it's not just for all of these young men, what they do on the field. It's about who they are and the difference they make off of the field. And there's so many awards that celebrate what you do on the field, but very few that celebrate the impact you make off of the field. And I just believe it's so important to highlight, because what are we really saying to young men if we're not saying that it's important to make a difference, if there's no awards for that? And so I think it's just so incredible. And to look at the impact that they are making, it's incredible to look at what Matt is doing and being able to serve the hungry and give meals to those in needs. And it's pretty incredible. And Michael Taft is someone that has done an incredible job of turning pain into purpose, because he lost a great friend from fentanyl overdose. And now he's got Taft's Tackles, where he's raising awareness and funds and hosting events for to be able to help protect boys and girls and men and women. And it's just so incredible. And Tanner Waugh at BYU, what he's doing, I don't know if he finds the time, but he's serving in Kenya and the South Pacific, and all the mentorships that he's doing with so many. And I just think it's so important. I believe it is so important that we highlight this and we honor it, because what they're doing is incredible, and they're role models to the next generation.
Well, we certainly have a platform and are using it for good, and something that we have certainly seen the importance of that. Now let's talk a little bit about college football here. We are heading toward bowl season and the playoffs, and Tim, we saw more controversy this year with the CFP. I'm curious what you make of that and all the talks every single year, gunning for more changes to the system based on whatever has kind of happened, whatever the latest slight is.
Yeah, I'm not always a fan for change, but in this situation, I am a fan of change, and I'm a fan of clarity to it. I think the parameters should change. I think they will change. I think if we want to say 12 best teams, let's truly put in the 12 best teams. If we want to have a model where you believe that a Tulane and a JMU are deserving, I get that. But then let's not say 12 best teams. And it's not to knock them. It's to truly be honest and have clarity around this. And then I think if we want to talk best teams, let's understand, what does that mean? Does it mean that you're playing the best at the end of the year, or does it mean that you are one of the 12 best throughout the year, that there's a consistency to it? There's no clarity to that. And I think if we really want to talk about it, just to really be able to have the right parameters that we're talking from, and I think there has to be we have to move a little bit closer to an NFL type model, where there's a commissioner and there's an understanding and leadership in this space, because I really believe leadership is vital to anything being successful. And listen, when we look at college football, the game is incredible. The teams and the athletes are great, but I think the structure around it can be improved, and there are several things that we can and should fix, and I believe that we'll get there.
And UCF, here in Orlando, UCF head football coach Scott Frost recently was talking about NIL and recruiting and revenue sharing and all that. And he said college football is broken in a lot of ways. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it'd be just understand what he means by broken. I don't think the talent on the field, I don't think the
Right.
game, in between the white lines is broken. I think it is an awesome game right now. You look at the talent, you look at the ratings for it, they are great. I think more probably referring to, I don't want to speak for him, but my guess is just that it's the structure around it, that there's not clarity, there's not understanding around it. And I think that's part of what I was referring to is the leadership has to step up and step in, bring clarity and understanding so everybody understands what we're talking about. And in a lot of different areas. And I think that will continue to help the game.
A new era of football for the Florida Gators, just recently hiring another guy with SEC experience, someone who played and coached at a rival of Florida's, and that would be the University of Kentucky, where I went to school. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Sorry, Garrett. I don't know if we really call them a rival, though.
That's fair. It's kind of more of a one-sided rivalry.
Maybe in basketball we call them a rival.
Yeah, that's fair. There's not really a whole lot else I can say back at you about that. So, but I'm curious. So Jon Sumrall, new head coach of the Gators, what do you make of him kind of leading the charge for this new era of Florida Gators football?
Well, I liked him when we hired him, but then when I've gotten to know him and spend more time with him and talk with him about mentality, culture, recruiting, philosophy, the more I like him. And man, he is a football junkie. He loves it. He eats it up. He wants to recruit, and I love his philosophy for recruiting. He wants to build the right culture. I believe that is vital. He wants to create an edge in the program. I think that is so important. I think when you look at Florida football, when it's been really good, it's had an edge. Under Spurrier in the 90s, there was an edge, and almost that led to a little bit of an arrogance. I don't mean that in a bad way, but like there was the fun and gun. It was that, hey, when we step on the field, we don't care who you are. We're going to score 40. There was this edge to Spurrier, and that was part of the culture. And then I think when you look under Coach Meyer and our time at Florida, there was a different edge. It was a relentless effort and focus on every single play of 4 to 6 seconds that you were going to flinch and we weren't, that we would take you into deep waters and eventually you're not going to be able to swim. And it was this mentality of toughness, of physicality, and then speed everywhere. And I think those were part of our identities, part of the culture, part of what we believe when we stepped on the field. This is who we are, and this is not who you are. And that just led to a lot of success. And I believe that one of the biggest jobs for Coach Sumrall is to create that identity, culture, and edge.
Well, Florida Gators legend Tim Tebow, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here on Florida Live this afternoon and talking with us.
Absolutely, Garrett. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Go Gators.
Yeah, we appreciate you, even though you gave me a hard time about Kentucky, but it's fine. We still love you, Tim.
I know. I couldn't even get a reciprocal Go Gators.
Not from me. I don't know that I'm physically capable of doing that, but I'm doing my best here.
You'll realize when you say it that actually makes you feel better. You can do it.
I'll try it off camera in the commercial break. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, sounds good.
Tim, thanks.